Podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. Here.
Here's Brock and James. You were always scum. I'm always waiting for the noise. Muted.
I hit the wrong button.
If you have access to bass traps.
I got something else. We got the base. Anyway, yeah, Brock, James, hi.
Boom.
I forgot how YouTube worked. I gotta start with this. How YouTube, mostly YouTube, like the audio portion, not so much, but YouTube. I forgot how it worked because we did a few weeks ago. We did that Dune video, like is Dune the new Star Wars, and there were comments, floundering of comments saying like Dune's been around longer. Star Wars was based on Dune, and like watch the video.
Sweet.
Works.
I'm glad that
watch
you listened.
I know, it's like that's not what we're talking about. We acknowledge that actually in the actual while we talk about it. But it's funny. But I've seen it's funny since we did that. There's been like a ton. Like Yahoo just did an article, like a bunch of articles, and I was Dune the next Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, F you.
If you're curious what Dune fans are like, just as insufferable as Star Wars fan. You're muted again, or you unplugged your mic. You're good. I heard it. Yeah, buried.
Okay, I have no idea what happened. I punched my mic because I'm using a different mic today. But it's like just watch us talk about it, and you'll find that maybe you're an idiot. Is most of the time. But I forgot about YouTube. I forgot how that's how YouTube worked. Right? People read the title, they saw the picture of Timothy Chalamet and Mark Hamill, and they were just like, raw trigger rage. Just like, calm the frick down. First, we didn't even put either one of them down. That's the thing that's crazy. Like, we didn't. Anyway, Rebel Scum Podcast 314. Welcome.
I mean, the Dune conversation has converted yourself, James, because you now have watched part one of Denis Villeneuve's Dune. Dune.
Yeah.
Dune part one.
Dune.
And
Dune
you loved
15.
it. You were like,
yeah, actually,
wow.
Yeah. So I tried. Remember we talked about this months ago. I got laughed at, but not just you, but like everybody, because I tried to watch it, and I'm not like the sci-fi fantasy, like that old look. I just can't. It's a struggle for me. It's really so. I got 18 minutes in around there. Stop watching it, and Aaron wasn't into it either. We both like screw this crap. But then Dune 2, everyone's like, this is the greatest movie ever made. I'm like, I'm going to miss the boat on this movie. I need to watch the first one again. And it went down to $5 on iTunes, Brock. So I was like, even if it's terrible, it's $5 after tax. So
that's a foot long at Subway, though.
No, it's not. It's actually a 6-inch ham now.
Yeah,
only the ham.
6-inch
They've
ham,
raised the prices. Anyway. Yeah, so I was like, I got it, and then last night Aaron was like, "What are we watching?" I go, "Dune." She goes, "What's Dune?" I'm like, "Stop it." And it was funny because we put it on the first 18 minutes. I'm like, I'm like sweating. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do it. I don't like the way it looks. I'm like, it's not like it's just like not the way it looks. Like the cinematography was great, the costumes are great, but it's the costumes and makeup. I'm just like, this is not what I like. I don't like this. And I'm like, I gotta get past it. And then Aaron's like the same conversation as we had months ago. She's like, this is like Star Wars. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And I got past what I did before, and something just clicked in it, where the costumes that I didn't like kind of went to the side, and what's his name, Polka Dot Man, like those characters. I'm like, these guys are really they're not my cup of tea the way they look. Right? I'm like, this is not how I like it. But I was like, I'm in it. And then I got sucked in, and it's like it's a slow, like not a lot like happens action wise, and I was like, and when it ended, I was like, Aaron was like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "I freaking love this movie." And then she's like, "Yeah, it's not bad." And then today she's like, all of a sudden she's like, knows everything about part 2 that's coming. Like not the plot, but like everyone that's in it, and like she's read articles and stuff. So yeah. So thanks to you and everybody saying that the second one is the greatest movie ever made. I'm now like I was like that was I just was like that was a real. How did I not? But I had to get past. Like I was sweating, man. Those first 18 minutes, I was like, let's do it. Let's do it. It was the woman. I can't remember her name. The woman that's like put your hand in the box. Like that costume. I'm like I'm out in that costume. And then like the face paint and I'm like, I can't do this. This was not made for me. And then once I got past that hump, and then there was like actual like stormtroopers showed up in it. I was like, wow, these are stormtroopers. I never got that far. I had no idea. And then people died. I'm like, oh, they're not in the next one. That's crazy.
Yeah. They're like, you paid Oscar Isaac how much to be on this movie for 2 days? Well, a movie like that's probably like a good week, no matter how long you're there. Actually, on screen.
Zendaya was only in the first one for 1 week or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds right. Her character's important, but like she is not in the first part.
No, but the thing that's great though is like she's sprinkled in, so you never forget about her, right? Like, it's like she gets sprinkled here and like just when you're like,
oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, like just when you no, it's not that like she's like it's a flash of her face, like it's not like but like
he dreams of her.
Yeah, so you never forget that she's in the movie. I just thought it was really well as a film. I was like, this is fantastic. As a Star Wars, it sucked though. I'll say that it sucked as a Star Wars. There was not one lightsaber in it.
You know, like I said to you, it's like it's as if Star Wars. It's a Star Wars movie if they never left Tatooine and Luke became a Tusken Raider for no real reason, just because he was told.
Yeah, that was the best synopsis of it. Absolutely. Let's get into Star Wars though. I want to talk to you about the Acolyte. It's Did you watch Bad Batch?
I did, and it was a very good episode. I'll give 30 seconds for spoilers. So, Bad Batch.
Yeah,
They're a Bad Batch. Anyways, so Omega, as I like to say, Omega and Crosshair escape from Hemlock, and now they have to find their way back to the rest of the Bad Batch. So, and of course, they crash land on a planet, and they have no credits. Did you actually go away, or did you lose connection?
I was like, oh, I don't want to hear this, but then I can still hear you perfectly.
it was a fun episode where they kind of bond, and Crosshair gives in to like Omega's positivity, and there's hijinks, and they escape with an Imperial cruiser, and they're able to send a thing to Crusher and God, what's the main character? The rest of the Bad Batch, and they come and then they reunite at the end, and they're like, "We can't believe you found us." And it's like, I brought someone, and they haven't seen Crosshair since he betrayed them and abandoned them. So now that the end of the episode was like, "Oh, we don't trust you," and then credits. Solid episode. It was like, it kind of pointed to me. This could have just been like a Last of Us, Mandalorian and Grogu sort of show where it's like a dad that doesn't want to be a dad that has to get their kid protect their kid from all the villains of the universe, and that was what that episode felt like. Solid. This season's pretty good, and I feel like, as always, Filoni's like, this is our last season, let's go all out. So it's very more adult. Yeah. So 4 stars out of 5 stars.
Wow,
because I know it can get better. 5. Yeah.
But what if it doesn't? If it gets worse, would you give this one a 5?
No. You can't peak at episode 3. So, yeah.
I think some shows have peaked at episode 3. Like The Mountain on CW. I made that up. I mean, it's a real show. I don't know if it peaked at episode 3. The Acolyte I haven't seen Bad Batch yet, so I can't comment on it. We have 2 odds brought to us by executive producer Heidi that are based on Bad Batch, and my answers are going to blow your minds, Brock. Minds. Before we get into our topic today, we need to tease our topic so people know what we're talking about. because the title of this show is called like Kathleen Kennedy Ruined My Childhood. Blind rankings. We're gonna blind rank Mandalorians. I
Ooh la
kept
la.
Django and Boba Fett off the list because
Oh,
there's
wow.
hemming and hawing if they are Mandos or not. So I kept them off because
Hmm.
I just look, if the Dune crowd came after me on one
Didn't.
thing, I don't need the Star Wars crowd coming after me on the other. Dune was around longer than Star Wars. You guys should read. All right. I was like, dude. Sure. Blind rankings. Let me figure out how to do this. Bam. Graphic change
Boom.
for everyone listening. Everyone listening is like, we don't care about your graphic changes, James. Blind ranking Mandalorians. We're going to start with Pre-Vizsla.
So that's Favreau's character, yeah?
No, this is the pre-Favreau's character. I think he's post-Vizsla.
Post Malone Vizsla. Who is the Vizsla in Mandalorian?
I think that's also like pre-Vizsla. I don't know, Brock.
Let's do a Google search.
I call him heavy. Okay, I call him heavy. He's not on this list. Spoiler, but I would call him heavy. Pre-Vizsla was a human Mandalorian warrior who, during the final years of the Galactic Republic, led the terrorist organization known as
Death Watch.
Sorry, I didn't know how to continue. So that's pre.
Yeah, no, it's Jon Favreau's character. Yeah, I'll give it.
Oh, you mean in the Clone Wars? Yes. Sorry, I'm thinking Mando.
I'm gonna put him at number 3 because it's like,
wow.
It's like it kind of like launched Favreau into the Star Wars universe, and look at what he's done. So,
well, Heavy is a better character. I don't care what you say. I gotta spell his name right. People are like, yeah.
Paz Vizsla. Shout out to Disney Desi for the assist.
There must be a delay.
She must have Googled
it. Gar Saxon. Gar Saxon.
Oh. Let's look that one up because I forget it look like.
I gotta make sure I'm spelling these things right. Gar Saxon was a Mandalorian human male who served as a commander of the Mandalorian Super Commandos in Maul's Shadow Collective during the Clone Wars. I like Gar. He'd be my number 5.
I'm gonna go 4. Disney Desi did not Google it, and she's a liar.
she binged it. She was on. Din Djarin.
Ooh, I'm gonna go number 1. I'm gonna go all in because, and then you're like, what about?
Everyone liked Din Djarin. The Armorer.
Ooh.
I don't know how you're gonna feel about the next one. I don't know how you're gonna feel
like I'm gonna gamble and put. I was gonna say 2, but I'm gonna put the Armorer at 5.
5. Armor. I gotta spell Armorer right. And then Bo Katan.
Oh, perfect. So number 2.
Is that how you say? Yeah, that's. I was wondering because I probably would have done the Armorer.
I thought you were gonna go Sabine, so that's what I was holding a spot for.
I went with Din. Yeah, I didn't. I went with. I don't know why. Random, bro. I just picked random. I was like, who's good? I didn't want to put Din on it. And I was like, yeah. Every week I cop out with these. So let's. She did not. Yeah, she binged it. She admits it fully. I mean, those are your blind rankings, right there. Good times on the blind rankings. Takes up 4 seconds of the show. Acolyte. There's been some talk of the Acolyte. It's coming, Brock. It is coming. And there's been an interview with C Magazine. Have you seen this interview with Amanda Stenberg?
No. What is C Magazine? Like the letter C or the ability to see?
Yeah, I guess the letter. I've never heard of it either, but it's big for C Magazine is
Cosmopolitan.
I clicked on it. It doesn't help me out. Huh?
Can you imagine it's just Cosmopolitan trying to streamline their own name?
I think it is.
C.
Is that Cosmopolitan? I don't know what it is. It's not telling me. I think you might be right. Now I lost the article. I think you might be right, though. Because it's culture, design, beauty, food, travel, weddings, video, top 5. Top 5? You stole from me. What are their top 5? Top 5 Mandalorians. Paz Vizsla. What is C, though? Anyway, so C Magazine shared new details. She shared new details about the Acolyte It said that the Acolyte will honor the ethos of Star Wars and explore various conceptions around the Force. And then the quote is as follows: in the context of the Star Wars universe, it's a time of great peace, theoretically. It's also a time of institution, and it's a time in which conceptions around the Force are very strict. And I think what we're trying to explore within our show is when an institution has a singular conception of how power can be used, we try to provide a lot of different perspectives and answers to that question. The idea is to kind of honor the ethos of Star Wars and ideas around the Force, and also challenge them, hopefully harmoniously. That's end quote.
Too long. Did not read. I mean, cool. She used a lot of words. She used a lot of descriptive words in that.
It's a Canadian art magazine, Brock. I
looked it up. I was like, yeah. So, I mean, that's quite a wordy a couple sentences. Like, she sounds like she's either played very, very well to like promote this movie, or she is very into this project. So it's like,
was it a verbal review or was it through email?
It's and she just AI generated a paragraph for them. Oh man,
genius.
So I know, what does ethos mean? I feel like I should know, but like, what is that's when you said ethos, I was like, not sure if I understand.
It sounds Greek to me. I'll tell you that.
Is.
I could go for
Definitely
it.
is.
It's like an era, right?
The distinguishing character, sentiment, moral nature. So the character of the show. It has a specific ethos.
Feel to it. And I think, like, I heard this and I was like, all in. And the reason is because I love the prequels. And the thing within the prequels is kind of how Sidious, who is, spoilers, is the Emperor, how he's able to deceive the Jedi so easily, right? And it's their own, your favorite word, hubris, is kind of the. So it's like,
hubris.
I love that we're going back, and this is kind of exploring maybe the beginnings of the downfall of the Jedi Order. Like, because people get mad, like, shit, I was on race back George Lucas. I'm talking about the showrunner. And like, no, but George Lucas, like, the prequels are about how the Jedi Order failed. And so this is, like, this leading into it is kind of exciting to me in the way that the Clone Wars kind of leads into Revenge of the Sith, and how the Mandalorian stuff can go into the sequels. This is a way to get into the prequels now. I like the beginning of the prequels, which we've never had before. Because you always say the Clone Wars made the prequels better, but did it make Phantom Menace better? This could, like, something like this could, for people that don't love Phantom Menace, even though it's the greatest movie ever made, could get them, maybe you see it in a different light now. You see, like, oh, the Jedi are dumbasses because they got so full of themselves that they overlooked it. So I'm, like, we still don't know who or what the Acolyte is. We don't know what's going on in this, aside from a master or a former apprentice and a master, Padawan and a master. So I'm excited, and this makes me go, yeah, this is on par with what I was hoping.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, so, I mean, it's nice when, like, I guess, like, this answer sort of, no disrespect to Dakota Johnson, but this kind of interview is, like, the opposite of her, like, whenever she does any promotion for a movie. And also, I guess it is kind of refreshing to hear a actor sort of like, yeah, like, I'm into this. I really like this movie. And I could say, oh, it's great, you'll love it, come and see it. Like, no, she was like, she had a thoughtful answer. And usually when you're like using tons of words, you're like, I love this project. So I agree. Like, it's just like, yeah.
And she dressed as Padme at Celebration. Like, seems like a genuine a genuine Star Wars fan, like someone who, like, I believe in, like, you know. So there's excitement there. And look, other than Dakota Johnson, everyone's gonna rave about the piece of crap they're in, right? It could be the worst thing ever, but, you know, other than Dakota Johnson, they're like, no, go see this movie because I need my next job. That's basically what it is. But this seems, I would say this is genuine, and it doesn't, like, actually, she doesn't say, like, this is the greatest thing ever. It's like, the show's kind of about about struggles and the downfall of what's going on. But we're gonna, it sounds like, because for me, I think the strongest point of Kenobi, part of Kenobi, was the lore building. Like I thought they did a good job with the lore building at Kenobi, and it sounds like this is going to maintain that level of lore building where you get little tidbits of things here and there that might be interesting. I still don't know if reading the High Republic is going to matter at all
Yeah.
with this. Like I honestly don't think it will. I think it'll benefit. Like I think if you read it, you'll benefit from it. Like because you'll know, like you'll know some backstories that won't play into it at all. It's just it gives you'll have a fuller idea of it. But I think this is going to be its own separate thing that lives within that world, which could be a very exciting time period to play in because we've only played in post prequel era now where everything's been dirty and gross, which we love about Star Wars, but let's go into the clean and shininess that we had 20 years ago.
Absolutely. And it's like, I feel like most people, especially in Star Wars, are like, their description of it is like, oh, this is like before Luke and this and da. And like, they just tell you where it fits in the thing. So hearing description that's like, it's a challenging, or like it's like we're looking at the soul of this project, so it's like let's do it. Yeah, I'm excited. I've been excited for this Acolyte project since it got announced. So regardless
it has
of
so much potential.
Yeah, regardless of any connection to High Republic, I'm like, sweet, let's do it. Like, and just like what we know and some of those quick pictures we saw, I'm like, the casting is just like. Yeah, I'm in. I'm in.
And there's a Wookiee. And we haven't had a lot of Wookiees coming up again, I don't think. So it's good to get some Wookiee love in there. Wookiee. And then, like, they still haven't announced. Like, the rumor is June 5th, and like a bunch of like reputable news outlets are reporting that, but there hasn't been any like there hasn't been any official word yet.
That's crazy.
But they want you to watch the Bad Batch, right? They want you to stick with that, and everyone said I had potential too. There you go. I like the idea because we had all like I love the Favreau Filoni stuff. Obviously, I gush about it, and people are like getting off of their bandwagon a little bit, but I'm still on it. I've moved up my seat a little bit. I'm closer to the front now. There's so many people got off of it, but Gilroy coming in and doing Andor was a nice, some fresh air, breath of fresh air coming in. You're like, oh, this is going to give you a new look and perspective on it. And this is another one now. And as much as I love the Favreau Filoni stuff, and I probably always will because I'm a shill, I love seeing these other perspectives on Star Wars. And I think we talked about this a while ago where now Disney owns them. So there is a big corporation overhead and they have to appease all these people. But when you can give Favreau Filoni, Gilroy, and I forget the name of the Russian doll doing Leia. But you give these individuals, right? Like J.J. Abrams for a bit, Ryan Johnson, they kind of, whether you like the movies or not, they had kind of, maybe not in the last one, but they had some full reign on it. You let the filmmakers do what they want with Star Wars, because Star Wars, I think, works better as that indie film kind of perspective, a big budget indie film where there's a singular vision into it. And if all these shows are going to have different singular visions, that works. I think the movies are a different story, but the shows, I'm very excited to see what we got. What is her name?
Leslie Headland.
Leslie Headland. I had initials right.
LH.
No disrespect. I've never seen Russian Doll. I don't know anything about it. I just am like, this sounds good.
Yeah, it was a good show. Yeah. Bad Batch. Yeah. Has no plot armor. What do you mean? Plot armor. What do you mean, Heidi? Let us look up plot armor.
How do we spell armor with a U in Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. I Harbauer.
David Harbour.
The main character is allowed to survive dangerous situations because they are needed for the plot to continue. That's what it means. It means when the main character survives for the plot to continue. Yeah. Well, Rogue One, they all died.
Yeah.
I love Rogue One, by the way.
Rouge One. Yeah.
That was a phenomenon. the Rouge One phenomenon. Let it be known. Remember, like people, like how do you not know how to? Anyway, we won't get into it. Remember when we watched Michael Phelps race to watch the trailer on TV?
Yeah.
During I think that was our second podcast.
Yep.
Freaking Rez Plout Armor.
Plouts.
You spelled everything perfectly Canadian. Everything. We add U's to everything. Everything.
We put the U back in Plouts.
You and Plout. I'm excited for it. I think I don't know if there's, apparently she also said something. Amanda Stenberg reveals how Star Wars The Acolyte was developed with her in mind. This is from IGN Africa. All the network was conceptualized with my face. Leslie was like, so I've been working on this for about 3 or 4 years for you. I don't know what I'm going to do if you don't do it. No pressure. I feel like there should have been an LOL. Oh, and this is part of the C magazine. How come I didn't see this in the C magazine? Oh, because I clicked on C. Man,
because you didn't see
I
it.
have a really. Oh, apparently she has a heavy load in the show, an abnormal load. The crews are so hardcore, they're so hardworking. It's very kind of hierarchical, competitive, and people work their butts off. I'm not gonna say asses. I'm gonna say butts. Very different. I think that I've experienced on most American sets. Anyway, yeah, and then she goes up to that. So yeah, it sounds like she's the star. I guess I'm okay with that. We need a star. I'm glad somebody is going to be in this show.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be me. I wasn't asked. Nobody called me. Maybe in 3 or 4 years, Brock, I'll get a call from someone and be like, I had this idea with you in mind for 3 or 4 years. And I'll be like, pass.
It's like man on bus number 3.
James, you need to play this part. You need to be man on the bus. 50 Shades of Star Wars. You can. That's how you get Dex's Diner back in. I don't know what that means. I don't know. What do we have? We got to go to the odds?
Let's do it.
Possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Ah, come on. Okay, I'm going to keep it on. I like this frame, by the way. I miss Quill. Do you think Quill will be back in the movie?
Oh, no.
Flashbacks, the whole thing.
No.
I really think they should. I don't know why you have to be negative on Quill. What if Quill wasn't? What if they clone Quill?
Quill on the Quill coin?
They need a nanny for Grogu, so they just clone Quill.
They clone Quill on Queen's Quay while quelling Queen Qua. Yeah, sure.
Has anyone died since Quill?
Has anyone cloned anyone since Quill? Probably. It's like less cloning, more staying dead.
Well, I think that is. There's 2 things that they need to do: stay dead and stop stabbing people with lightsabers. Those are like the 2 things those 2 things that they need to do. All right, Never Tell Me How. Brought to you by Patreon.
Patreon.com. If you like what we do, why don't you go to Rebel Scum? Fucking hell, man. Patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast and support us because we need help. Sometimes you feel like it, not sometimes you don't, and we need your help on that. So go on down to patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast and see what we have. We will give you that juicy content when we have time to make it. But
Fantasia has a new video on Patreon for all the Patreons to watch. It's just him, like, I don't know. I think he's eating pie or something.
So I have like Google TV, Chromecast, whatever it's called now, and YouTube is on it. I mean, or if you have a Fire Stick, you can watch YouTube on it as if it's TV. But Google specifically, because it owns YouTube, it's like it'll pop up like, oh, watch this on Netflix or this on Disney Plus or this on Prime. But occasionally it'll pop into YouTube, and if it thinks I like YouTube, it'll also put it in like that big part that shows like a massive thumbnail of that thing. And one of it was one of the videos from our channel, and it's one of Andrew's book reviews, the one with the Queen Amidala book where there's two faces and he puts like
it's a new video, yeah.
Full screen, this guy's face on my TV, and I'm like, why is Andrew on my Chromecast? And it's like good 30 seconds of like, what is happening? What is going? It's like, oh, it's one of our videos. So yeah, because my YouTube is connected, it looks at, obviously Rebel Scum podcast comes up because I check on things every time to time. I was just like, I can't escape this man. I cannot. But anyways, Andrew Fantasia is not canon, but does content for us on the Patreon. So if you want to see his non-canon face, head on over to patreon.com/Rebel Scum podcast. And we love all the people that already do, and those people are... Where did my email go? I moved it, and it is gone. There we go. Heidi Feder, executive producer. Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Randy Kenobi, Mary Kristen Aton, Dale Erdman, Phil Staniforth, Rez, Scott D, Josh Price,
Matt W, Frank Perkins, Neil, Lowry, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Denniners, Disney Daddy, Charlotte, Ron Prasak, Jeff Wilson. Let's go. Now that Brock has talked everybody out of buying a Google Cast. Everybody is like, I was going to, but now I'm not. I am absolutely in no way, shape, or form. So they make the new Chromecast like the Fire Stick, like with the menu screen and everything? Like, is that how they all work now?
Oh, yeah, they're all like that. So if you don't have a smart TV, you can just use that.
I don't have a smart TV. I have a Fire Stick and the Apple, and they're all like that. And I have a Chromecast, the old Chromecast, which wasn't like that, and that's why I stopped using it, because I was getting annoyed streaming from my phone every time. Like, that, because sometimes when the connection would be lost with the internet, I wouldn't be able to stop what I was watching. There was no pause option that way. So good news.
It's called Google TV now, but it is Chromecast. Like, the thing itself is called Chromecast as well.
Chromecast is such a better name than Google TV.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry, Brock. Next is Google TV Plus, because if you put a plus next to it, we all pay an extra $7.99.
Sure.
The most unoriginal. We're just gonna put plus. It's gonna be streaming, so we're gonna put a plus next to it. Everyone's gonna love it. Disney did it. All right. Like, they're all plus now. Netflix Plus is next. I never told the odds. The word. I never wrote what the word was in the odd. It says the word will not be mentioned in the Acolyte. What's the word, Brock? The word is the word Sith. The word Sith will not be mentioned in the Acolyte. We will never hear the word Sith uttered in the show The Acolyte, which is probably about a Sith.
Yeah, I'm trying to think when the books
I don't know if it can be a Sith. Well, in the Phantom Menace, if you recall, Brock, Siths were like gone for like 2,000 years or something at that point. There had been no Sith. There had been, obviously, we know that there had been because of CVP and Plagueis and Darth Maul and whatnot, and Tyrannus, but the Jedi don't know that. So if the word is uttered, it has to be a non-Jedi, or the Jedi that utters it has to be killed.
Mm-hmm.
Morbid. We're going morbid with this one.
Yeah, because I was just gonna say, like, in the book, I think they mentioned the Sith once, because like the villains in that are not Force users, right? They're the what are they called? The Nile, and they're just pirates that wear metal on their faces. So it's like they're not really Force wielders. So I think it gets mentioned once offhand about something else, like the Sith, like you said, are in the past. So that's interesting, because you can't mess with the storyline. Maybe there might be a creative way of doing it. I'm gonna say 75%, because it's just like, I think you do need to sort of reintroduce what it could possibly be for fans that have no idea what the High Republic series is about.
I'm gonna go 41. No, full Brock. Can I change it? Was it too late to change it? I mean, we take these things very seriously. Mm-hmm. I'm going full Brock for everything I said. Like, it probably, if it is about a Sith, it could be mentioned, but at the same time, how do you do it in a way? And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do it or not. I hope they do. We don't hear it enough. I mean, there are Sith troopers.
This is true.
There's leftover red paint from the Praetorian Guards, and they're like, just paint the Sith Troopers. Just paint them. Why does CVP love red guards? Why hasn't anybody done a book on that? Right? The Royal Guards, the Praetorian Guards, and then the Sith Troopers. Why is it? Why? Like, what is his fascination with red? Are you guarding CVP right now based on the shirt you're wearing?
When he was dressed as just himself in like Phantom Menace, I feel like there are a lot of red accents in his garb. I don't know. I think George Lucas just said, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if they were red?" And they've just gone along with that. Or I guess George Lucas also made the prequels, but I think it's just sort of like, it's cool if an elite squadron is red.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it all works, but at some point you're like, why are they all red? I mean, it is kind of menacing. And what happened to Masameda? This is a crisis. What happened to him? He just like, I think he was mentioned in a book, but we need to know what happened to him.
Do we?
I think we need it. Judging. Okay, next odd comes from executive producer Heidi. Never tell me the odds. What are the odds that Boba Fett appears in the Bad Batch? If so, what are the odds he will let them go? Omega, being an unaltered clone, would be his sister.
Heidi gave us a good answer for our question about red. Red represents evils in Star Wars. That's a really good point. But to the odd, it was like, I am going to say, what was the question again?
Boba Fett appearing in the Bad Batch.
Oh, yes. My initial reaction was like, no. And then I'm like, oh, right. Omega is basically the female version of him. So that would be pretty cool. So Heidi, you won me over. I am going to go 65%.
Ooh. Why would he appear? I haven't seen this season. Why would he appear? Why would
I don't know. It would just be because I don't feel like we've gotten a really good answer of why they have a female clone. So, and also
But do you need one?
I don't know. They made 3 seasons about it. But like the alpha, like Boba being classified as alpha and Omega being Omega, it's just like I'm sure they've talked about it and it wasn't that satisfying because I couldn't even tell you if that actually happened. Like, it would be nice to sort of like, it's like they haven't. I don't feel like they really have said why exactly they have a female clone outside of it's different, and that's pretty neat, I guess. So yeah, that could be a reason why. What a perfect way to be frozen. And it's just me. It's just me. Thank you for letting me know it's not me this time, guys. So I'll just keep talking. So, yeah, I like Heidi, that you won me over. I usually don't like when they drop in Boba Fett or Jango Fett last minute. So I'm like, you got me. I will not sing a song. This is my nightmare. But yes, he's back. I feel vindicated because it wasn't me this time. And Disney Desi was backing me up even though she usually hates me.
No, that was all me. I plugged in. I'm tethering from my phone right now. I don't know what happened. I just I don't know what happened. Yeah, no, I knew it was me because when it's me, the screen goes black and I get the circle of death appearing. So I'm like, and we both went. And I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
I sort of
boy.
stayed silent for a second because you were like this, and then you couldn't see like you were not blinking. I'm like, oh, he's never.
Yeah, I pulled myself off the feed, and then my whole thing was just like, you don't have the internet, so I tethered. But the phone cable I'm using is like all like if I touch it, it might disconnect my phone. So you might lose me again. I just don't know the context of which we would get a Boba Fett in the show, like why he would appear, because I haven't seen it, so I can't talk to it. So I'm gonna go 97.8%. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm gonna go 11.1%. I feel like with the Book of Boba Fett, they've kind of done their thing with Boba Fett, and I don't know if they're going to use him on an animated show right now. Like, I think they're going to let him breathe, because especially with the way that show is received by everyone but me, because it's brilliant. Final line, also brought to us by executive producer Heidi. What are the odds that Batu eventually appears in a Star Wars media of some kind? But it's already been in a book, but how about they visited it on a show or something, Brock?
I don't see why not. Because you always got all those cool characters that exist in the park already. And, like, it's... Because who knows? Maybe this is Filoni's last animation. If they went to Batu and they just run into Hondo, I mean... So, I want to say... I'm going to agree with Disney Desi on this one and go 75%. So...
I find it hard to believe that they haven't gone there already in like at least the Mandalorian, right? Like how have they not done? Like how is Bob Iger? I know it wasn't there for a while, but how did Bob Iger not be like, "Yo, John and Dave, you got to go to Batu. You have to contractually obligated to go to Batu." Like I don't know how that hasn't happened yet because they go to all these nonsense planets. They're great, fine. But just throw in Batu. So I'm gonna go like 70. No, I'm gonna prices right both of you and go 79%. Just to prices right you all.
Oh.
Yeah, 79%. That's how I. That's how I have to do it because it just like you want people to. I mean, people are going though, so I guess you don't need to force it. But I would throw that in 79.
Yeah.
Rez is saying that just makes sense and sense.
It's sense.
And Heidi and sense and Heidi and Desi will be extras in the back. Probably they'll be in Oga's Cantina. Just what do you get at Oga's Cantina? Do you get like alcohol or is it just like
that's where all the drinks are.
That's where the adults go that don't want to be there with their like kids because adults don't go there on their own.
No, not a single time.
Good thing I didn't. No.
Not a single time.
Every time I see a picture of Galaxy's Edge, it's just like an onslaught of everyone over like 30.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
There are kids drinks.
Yeah, and like they have all the fancy drinks. You remember I had the glass that was like the Ewoks? That's where I got it from. And I think there's food. Yeah, I think there's food. There's a bunch of stuff. It's crazy. It is definitely the thing you have to do.
I have a apron from the Droid Factory.
Right, that's right.
And my daughter has a Jar Jar Binks doll, also. Which she, by the way, the other day she picked up that Jar Jar, and now she's at the age where she throws everything. She launched Jar Jar across the room, and I said, "You don't do that to Jar Jar. You do that to every other one, but not to Jar Jar. You show Jar Jar respect." I sat her down. We had a big conversation about it. All right, no news today.
No news.
Brock already got his solo shot.
There is one news. Toronto Comic Con.
Oh, the news.
No news. I mean, there's tons. There's probably other tons of news. I just couldn't. I couldn't cut and paste. Toronto Comic Con is coming up at this March break, March 15th to 17th. It's a Friday to Sunday. I don't know their names, but Actually, I had it in front of me. The gentleman that played Wedge will be there. Dennis Lawson, a.k.a. Ewan McGregor's uncle. He will be there all weekend. Diana Lee No Santo. Forget what the villain's name from Ahsoka is. And Iman Esfandi, who plays Ezra and Ahsoka. They will both be there Saturday and Sunday. And hopefully Rebel Scum Podcast too. Waiting on those media accreditation. But yeah, if you want to do some Star Wars tings, why don't you come on down to Toronto and hang out. And I'll give you high fives.
They don't do these Comic-Cons anywhere else. You have to come to the T-Dot. Or the 6, or whatever they call them now.
The fun fact is, like, Informa owned Fan Expo. Fan Expo is like the Toronto Comic-Con for years. And they got bought by an event company, I guess, called Informa. And then they went and bought all these others, Comic-Cons in the States. So there used to be a Boston Comic-Con. It's now called Boston Fan Expo. There's a Dallas Fan Expo. So I'm like, wow, it started in here. So fun stuff.
That's good to know. We could bragging rights for nobody that will care. Cause
exactly. I am the only one that's interested in that.
You should tell everybody when you go. You should go to Boston Fan Expo and be like, guess what, guys? Top 5. Top 5 Din Djarin moments. Din. Hydro 1 alert. The updated estimated time of restoration is 8 p.m. What?
Huh?
It's almost 10. I got Hydro 1. Hydro is what we call our power here. There's a big storm. I don't know. It's windy AF outside. Like, there's wind.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Like, baloney. We've lost power twice today. Like, for like half a second. Like, a burn.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no. I was with Selena once, and she was mortified. Top 5 Mando moments. When he killed dead IG... Which IG is it? 11?
88.
When he killed him dead, 88. And when he killed him dead and he came back, but before that, when he first in the first episode, when he's just off camera, like bam, so he can save Baby Yoda. That was the most heroic thing anyone has ever done, was saving Baby Yoda.
Oh, sorry, it is IG-11. Curse you, Dizzy, my nemesis.
I'm probably having a drink with the droid right now at Oga's. I only know. It's the only place I know. Oga's obsession. Is that a drink? Oh, it's like a Jello shot and Petri dish. Okay, interesting. What Petri dish? Yeah. Okay, you're number 5.
My number 5 is gonna be. I want to say the duel between him and Pre Vizsla in Book of Boba Fett, not his show. That was fun little point. Paz. Damn. Paz Vizsla. So, anyways, that was cool. And we're like, he's not good with the Darksaber. I like that. That
is my number 4, because anytime I can bring Heavy into the situation, I'm bringing... Heavy died. That's right. Heavy died. Heavy was my favorite, and Heavy died. I have the Heavy Funko Pop. I couldn't get the black... I wanted the black series, couldn't get it, so I got the Funko Pop. Heavy, rip, buddy, rip. Your number 3?
My number 4. I only did 1.
Yep.
Yep. I'm gonna say I love the Sandcrawler chase in the egg episode in first season. I just like the idea of like it's like this sort of like the slowest car chase ever, and then he's just like jumps on the side of it and gets punched by Jawas popping their heads out like it's like Batman, the Batman 66, where there's always someone looking out the window as they're climbing up a wall. That's my number 4.
And my number 3, because now we're on 3, is when he removed his face for Baby Yoda at the end of season 2. When he was like, "I love you, Dad." It's like, I know. I'll bring you a cold, or I'll bring you in, and that's my number 3.
My number 3 will be similar. It's when he took the mask, or when IG-11, who is in the show, not IG-88. took off the mask. He's like, I am not human. And I'm like, oh, it's like, he's in there. There he is.
Yeah, that was a good one. I'm glad he didn't take it off in season 3, though. I hope he doesn't ever again either. Because we've seen it enough. I'm sure in the movie he will. If they get Pedro Pascal, I think they already did. Desi says, I'm hanging with R3X, the DJ in Ogas who's previously employed. That's Pee Wee Herman, is it not?
I think so. That sounds right.
My man
Let's
was
fact check that.
my number 2 is the Crate Dragon.
Oh, yeah, that's sick.
From season 2, episode 1, the Crate Dragon. Really like that scene when they go to attack it, and it's a great moment. I'm being very generic because it's pretty much every time they go to the Crate Dragon, I like it. Paul Rubens, yes, Paul Rubens is not. I mean, his real name is Paul Rubens. His fake name that I grew up with was Pee Wee Herman / the Penguin's father.
R.I.P. My number 2 is going to be somewhat of a cop out, but I've said it before. I love anytime that Mando is flying around. Those shots look awesome. He's a pretty cool pilot, so yeah. Especially in his new Naboo cruiser,
Naboo
starship, starfighter, yeah.
Heidi's favorite part is the fact that Din is the first non-deadbeat dad in Star Wars.
Yeah, true.
There you go. And my number 1, everything in the egg episode. I think I kind of want to put the Mudhorn in there, but I'm gonna go the Sandcrawler. Everything in the Mud episode is my favorite. Wow.
You're wrong, James. You're wrong, and here's why. Are you saying I'm wrong? Yes. My number 1 is going to be from the very first episode in the first 5 minutes where he says either you're coming in with me hot or you're coming in with me cold, or is it warm? Either you're coming with me warm or you're coming with me cold. I'm like in immediately. A minute. Wah, 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 wah.
Ludwig
Göransson.
Yeah, do you think he'll come back for the movie, or do you think he's?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, we should put a wager on. That's next week's Never Tell Me the Odds.
He did music for something recently. I'm like, this guy is everywhere.
Oh, Oppenheimer.
Yes, that's it.
And it was weird because it started and it went wah, 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 and all
kaboom.
He'll always do. I think he's Nolan's guy now because Zimmer was like, I want to do Dune. Nolan's like, if you don't do Tenet, you'll never work with me again. He's like, I'm doing Dune. and then Ryan Coogler will always use him as well. By the way, Fruitvale Station. Come on. If you haven't watched it, everybody needs to watch Fruitvale Station. Great.
Yeah, let's go.
Where are we going?
Batu.
I want to go to Batu. I'm trying to go there this summer because, spoiler alert, my daughter will get in for free. And she gets to fly for free. So I'm like, there's a lot of words free floating around. But you know who's not free? This guy.
Me.
This guy's not free. A lot of free. I might just throw it on the plane and be like, I'll meet you there. All the cool kids come to Batu. There we go. That's our show.
That's it.
This
Goodbye.
week was an emotional. This week's been an emotional roller coaster. Hey. It's been an emotional roller coaster from start to finish when we found out that Star Wars was indeed canceled after just 2 seasons. Yeah, 6 seasons and a movie. But Acolyte is on his way. Bad Batch is in here and now. Skeleton Crew is upcoming, and Tales of the Jedi Season 2 will be making its arrival. And we just learned that Canada has a premier magazine that gets all the Star Wars scoops. So, thank goodness for C Magazine. Gonna have to get my subscription.
Maybe the C is for Chatelaine. Remember Chatelaine magazine?
Oh my god. Yes. I don't think that's the C. Like it didn't
No, I
tell me
looked
what
it
it was.
up.
It
It's
doesn't
just
say.
C.
It's just C. It's been 50. It's 15 years old though. Like 15 years. I've never seen this thing.
Yeah, well, you know what else is 15 years old that I guessed tonight? The movie The Hangover. So 15 years isn't that long ago.
That's crazy because I was thinking about what was I thinking? Oh, I was thinking about Dune. We were talking about Dune earlier,
Dune.
before the show, and I had that book as a kid, and then and then I remember when I was in college, and taking somebody did some kind of presentation on David Lynch, and he talked about the Dune movie, his Dune movie, and how the producer didn't want to work with him ever again because it was such a disaster or something. And I was like, that movie was 15 years old when I was in college. It felt like it was 90 years old, but it wasn't that old. It's as old as The Hangover, or probably a little bit older, but The Hangover is the same age as that was, and that's wild. Just wild. It is amazing though when you think of it though, Brock, how different movies how far movies have come. It was it was a slow burn, got to a point, and then the 90s happened, and then from 2000, Lord of the because the new Dunes probably can't happen. But Lord of the Rings and then Marvel, those kind of let this one kind of happen. It's I was just thinking about how books being adapted sucked for so long. And then Lord of the Rings was do they have to? You know, that's the big, I know there's other ones that didn't, but for the majority of when you watched a movie based on a book, you're oh, the book's better every time. But then Lord of the Rings came, you're that was solid. Even if you found the book, it was solid. And then the quality and stuff, and now I think video game movies are the next shoe to drop is video game movies because they've sucked for so long, but they're starting to be better, and you're get there.
Yeah, I mean, they're making a movie on the Borderlands series. I'm all right, let's go.
And it doesn't look bad.
Yeah, it does not look bad. I mean, Kevin Hart, he doesn't really choose. I mean, I think I was gonna say he doesn't choose bad projects, but that's really subjective or objective to whoever. What you're my wife loves Kevin Hart, but I would argue that no one. He does the movies. He knows what he is. He's like The Rock. He is like The Rock, where they're they know what kind of movie they sell. So Kevin Hart in a movie like that, I'm there must be. And Kate Blanchett of all characters, wow. So
yeah, was she is this her payday? Is this the one where she's I need to do a big
yeah, maybe. I don't know.
They all need every actor needs it, I wonder if this is hers. Oh, maybe it's good, but maybe she doesn't need it because she's got to be loaded, right? She's got to be loaded.
Yeah, so I don't know.
She's that Indiana Jones 4 money.
She's got that Thor Ragnarok money. Boom.
Oh yeah, she was She was good in that too. That was a good movie. I like Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. We're all discussing ages. We're all old. Thanks everybody for watching. Give us a like and a subscribe because that's currency on YouTube. So far, I can tell you we have 5 likes and 3 live viewers, but I'm showing 6 live viewers. I don't know. There's discrepancy everywhere. I don't know what this is. Is that a waving goodbye hand? RJ47 is here. Hi, RJ47. First time here. Oh, sorry, we're leaving. Hopefully you come back next time. Same bat time, same bat channel.
That's not what this podcast is about.
Says you. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. Brock, anything else you want to say?
I just finished watching Avatar, the Last Airbender live action show on Netflix. Highly suggest, specifically for our Toronto's own Paul Seung-hun Lee. I am sorry I always screw up your name, but he plays Uncle Iroh and he destroys it to the point that you should watch it and be he could do his own Star Wars show. He could do it. Carson Teva and the Crazy Bunch, and they're a cool group of rogue squadron pilots. Boom, done. Sold it. Make it. But anyways.
RJ47 Wednesday 9 p.m. next Wednesday we'll be here unless Brock's like, James, I don't want to talk about Star Wars this week. I want to talk about Avatar.
I love it so much when you just zone out and start looking at the chat.
You said watch it because Carson Tevin can have his own show. I was listening.
Yeah,
I agree. But I'm not going to watch Avatar. I can assure you the next show I watch is going to be
Below Deck.
I haven't watched. No, I'm over that. I'm probably Stranger Things. That'll probably be the next show I watch, and that's not coming up for the next 10 years. What I like Avatar, though, like I've never seen the cartoon. I have had no interest in it. Would I like it, Brock? Is it something I should sit down and watch?
No, probably not. Filoni worked on the first couple episodes.
As he did. Of the show or the cartoon? Who worked on the cartoon?
The cartoon.
On the show? Yeah, okay, yeah. So I shouldn't watch it. All right, well, everybody else should watch it and let me know what you think. And if enough people say it's really great, it might turn into Dune and I might have to watch it.
Freaking Disney Desi, not that Avatar. Disney Desi. Just end the show.
All right, Brock, you were always. Hold on. Scum.
Rebel Scum.
Scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.